Hey all, welcome back to the Bergerac channel. This is Jim, your humble host, and I am going to show you today how to set up a dado stack. So first part, I made a little dado stacking adjusting set holder, which you can do out of anything. This one's made out of stainless, and I just tigged it together with a 5/8 bolt in it. But let's go back for 1 second and let's actually look at what a dado is. This little drawer, this ebony drawer that we're building here, has dados in it. Both sides are dadoed. Okay, the back comes out. There's a dado in that piece going across, which holds the bottom of the base of the drawer in. Okay, so it's all dadoed. Now without a dado set, it's a lot harder to do this kind of work. This is actually what makes your table saw a useful tool. So we'll set this aside for right now, and I'm sure you all have seen that before, but we might as well demonstrate what we're actually doing. This little stand will hold an 8-inch dado set. I'm going to take this off, and let's throw a random number out there. All right, let's say we want to make a dado at 738 thousandths. Well, I have my little stack here. I haven't even touched this table saw. I'm going to put the outside blade on the outside, the same as the way. Now pretend the motor on the table saw is right here. Okay. I set the opposite outside blade in. Then I put my spacer blades in. These are going to start stacking the width. If you notice that I'm keeping the blades, the teeth actually, not in parallel with each other. We're going to offset them every time, make sure they're offset. Now this is a very random stack here. As you saw, I pulled it out of the box. It's just going to give me a rough idea of where I need to be at, where I'm currently at. Okay, so now that's actually locked in the table saw base. Everything's tight. Okay, and I can measure it now. Now if you're already bored with me, I have a suggestion. You can look at this sheet. Both sides of it has information, lots of little chipper blades and all of that stuff in there. You can do that, which is fine writing, small print, so some of you may need your glasses like I do. Or you can watch the DVD if you have a DVD player still. But I think you'd rather watch me. So I'm going to show you how we do this. Okay, right now we're stacked, and this gives me a dimension of approximately 780 thousandths. I said we wanted to be at 738 as a random number. Okay, so I know that my spacers, let me measure one of the spacers here. This one's 60 thousandths. This one's 121 thousandths. 122 thousandths. Okay. I think I'll take the 60 thousandths out of there. That'll drop me down to approximately 720 something. But let's stack it back together. Put all the carbides, make sure they're not touching each other. Wind the little nut on. Isn't this fun? It's a lot easier than doing it down inside the table saw, which I'm going to show you how difficult that is in a minute. So I'm coming out with approximately 720 right now. We said we had to be at 720. Let's check it one more on one more set of blades. So 720. 724 to 725. Okay, 738 was what we said we wanted to be at. So we're going to need some spacers. Now these little shims come in all different dimensions. So we're going to take a couple of them, we're going to measure them. Okay, that one's 2 thousandths. I think we need to go about 14 thousandths. So let's see what we got. All right, these two together are 11 thousandths. So add one more in there. Okay, that one's 16 thousandths, so I'm going to take that one out, and I'm going to put this little guy back in and see what I have. Okay, pretty close to the same. Alright, I'm good with that. So that gives me approximately, better make sure I hang on to them, 16 thousandths between those. Yep, good with that. So let's restack our dado set. And then how we want to do that is take a couple of these off. We don't want to put all the spacers between one set of chippers. So I'm going to put one in here. I'm going to put one of my chipper heads back on. I'll put another one on. Put another chipper head back on. And I will put this one on the outside. Okay, now we'll stack those. We'll get our dimensions. Okay, that, if you look at that, I'm going to turn this around so you can see here. Everyone's measure slightly different. So I'm somewhere around where I want to be depending on how much pressure I put on it. So I was going for 738. That's really close. See how easy that was? We did it without even being in the table saw. So now I'm going to stack this in the table saw, show you how much more difficult that is. But I have everything lined up the way I want it to be. So we're going to stack it and we're going to see what we got for a cut. So we need to put these on in reverse of the way they came off our stack. So the spacers are obviously slightly more difficult to get off when they're on there, but you pop them out, they get stuck on the threads. Okay, now this is going to go on the motor side. Set the next one up in. Now you can see how you have to reach down inside the machine in order to put these in. See the obvious difficulties with it. We'll put the first spacer on. Next chipper. Little spacer, chipper. The final spacer, which we're going to know if we're going to need or not in a second. And the outside blade. Now, anytime you put a dado head on, this is always a challenge to make sure none of the blades are touching each other, none of the carbides. I like to use the large balancing plates. And we'll put the nut on. Okay, I'm going to set it in and use a little block to help hold my blade so they don't turn when I'm tightening. And I want to check all of my teeth. You'll notice right in here, while I was videoing, look at which direction that chipper's going. It's going in reverse. And I've done this a ton of times, and it's that easy to make a mistake. Again, make sure none of your teeth are touching. Same process. Back down to 1/3 of the board width. use the opposite end. And when you're doing this, I would not recommend you just push this through because it's too dangerous to have your hands over there. You should use the pushing blocks. But we're just setting up for example right now. .738, exactly what we're looking for. Do you like the stand and don't want to make one? Let us know and we'll make one to your specs. Thanks.